Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I'm once again checking the volumes, which Mr. B, Nick Giraffato from Link to my sponsor, told me I could not do, or it irritated him to no end. So here we are again, and here's Link to, and here's a little message from Link to post. After you watch this video, you'll really be thinking about this. Ripple just won its 4-year legal battle with the U.S. regulators. They have only been fined $125 million instead of the initial $2 billion requested by the SEC, and the judge reiterated her view that Ripple did not violate federal securities laws through its programmatic sales of XRP to retail clients through exchanges. This ruling sets the stage for a potential IPO, as Garlinghouse, Ripple's CEO, had stated in 2022 that they would explore it after the lawsuit with the SEC ends. Now, Link2 has like all kinds of special bundles and pricing on, when I say bundle, that's like that they'll combine 3 different types of private, like Ripple private equity, Kraken private equity, Uphold, and then they'll give you special pricing on that. And that's up there on the board right now. They do have Ripple equity available. Check this out. This is Meta Lawman was on with the Wolf of All Streets, and he said this, which is so true.
This is a case that never should have been brought. It was confirmed by the judge yesterday that the SEC has absolutely no evidence of any losses in association with the securities violations that were found. So if you think about the world of crypto and all the possible targets out there, to pick one where no securities violations resulted in any harm whatsoever, this should never have been brought and feeds into a really legit question that the XRP community has been asking forever. Why the free pass to Ethereum and this jihad against Ripple where there's no damages?
Exactamundo. And then here's another clip of him where he's talking about the potential of the SEC not settling, basically. And my question here is, well, this can't be. There's no way that the SEC is going to keep Ripple in this lawsuit, because Mark Cuban and the Crypto 4 Harris scam, they told us that there's going to be a reset, and all of a sudden the Democrats are going to change their entire tune about crypto.
My guess is that they will appeal, and there are 2 things that appeal would include, at least 2. One is this decision on disgorgement is very, very impactful for the SEC's entire enforcement program. If they can't get disgorgement without proving losses, it impacts significantly pending cases.
That shouldn't be a problem. They don't need those cases to go well now, because the Democrats are doing a reset on cryptos. What Mark Cuban keeps telling us, they said that they want to talk about it, is what he says. But they never actually say what they're going to do. They just say they want to talk about it. What they're trying to do is give a fake impression to try to get them across the finish line in the election, and basically not saying anything, but making it sound like they're wanting to talk about it. It's a lie.
Other cases that they would like to bring. And you might recall that we discussed this on a prior show, that while the Ripple lawyers deserve tremendous credit for how they've managed this case, and John Deaton's part was very important in this case, did a wonderful job, great job by all involved, including the leadership of Ripple, to not buckle under, and settle and fight this thing. Give them all the credit. But there was a lucky break here as well. And that was at the end of last year, the Second Circuit changed the law. For my entire career, which was long, there was no requirement that on a securities violation like this, that the SEC had to show any losses. The Second Circuit changed that last year. in between the time that the summary judgment was decided in this case and the remedies was decided, they get a binding precedent from the Second Circuit that basically kicks out disgorgement. So the SEC hates that, and they think it is wrong. And there is...
Now, I'm going to move on because I got so much to show you, including this. Eleanor Terrett reached out to the SEC. Now, I'm not going to read all this, but I'll summarize it for you, in my opinion, which is basically what I've observed is from the Ripple side and the SEC side with what they've both said. And I think it's pretty sure on the Ripple side, I'll show you in a minute, that Ripple's not going to appeal. They're going to pay the $125 million fine. Stuart Alderati comes out and says it, and I'm going to show you that in a second. But reading this makes me think that the SEC now has enough where Gary can lie as he does and try to hold it up as a victory for himself. Then we've got this, customers banks hit with a federal enforcement action for digital asset dollar token activities. So Operation Choke Point 2.0 keeps on rolling down the line like Tyler Winklevoss says here. It's alive and well. I'm going to skip this because I want to make sure I get to that Stuart Alderati clip. This is crazy Michael Saylor talking about how Bitcoin would be affected by if Kamala Harris gets in. Now, this is interesting. Ripple just met with the White House on the Zoom. They were in the call with the White House yesterday that apparently got pretty crazy. Right here, Charles Gasparino says crypto executives clash with Democrat leaders in heated Zoom. And if you go down here, this is pretty interesting. It says, instead of finding common ground, the industry execs lashed out at the White House officials, largely over the regulatory assault from agencies like SEC and Federal Reserve. People who attended told Fox Business the meeting seemed like a replay of the roundtable of Cana last month when industry execs aired their grievances to the senior White House official about the unfair treatment they received under Biden. Executives didn't hold back on telling the administrative reps how much damage they've done to the crypto industry and to the Democrat Party with their actions against digital assets. This is where it gets interesting. Conway, for instance, aggressively expressed frustration that the administration has provided nothing but empty promises to the industry. Conway, on an early Coinbase investor, did not immediately respond. After another tense moment was when Adeyemo, now this is that Wally Adeyemo, I think he's in the picture somewhere. Yeah, this guy. Remember, this guy worked for Elizabeth Warren. He's in the meeting. He worked for Elizabeth Warren. He's one of the guys that she put at the Treasury. Then it goes, if you watch down here, it says another tense moment is when Adeyemo told attendees that banks and regulators were not actively trying to cut off the industry from the broader financial system. In response, a crypto executive asked those on the call for a show of hands of whose firms have been denied banking service because of White House policies. According to two attendees, nearly all the industry representatives raised their hands. So this guy's a liar that's been sent there by Elizabeth Warren. It's all a fraud. The whole thing's a fraud, and they all know it. Now, Donald Trump and friends to save the day, folks. Look at this. This is a clip from Donald Trump Jr.
You're the best. Am I dropping a coin? No. No, what we're talking about is sort of a larger type of platform. Not going to be sort of very different. It's not like it's not a meme coin. That's not what we're going to be talking about. But, we got a long time before we can do it. I think what we want to do is sort of take on a lot of the banking world. I think there's been a lot of inequality in that only certain people can get financing, only certain people can do these sorts of things. So, this notion of decentralized finance is obviously sort of very appealing to guys like me who've been debanked or haven't been able to get insurance or whatnot, can't get mortgages because they don't check certain boxes, but others can. So I think there's a whole thing where we got to talk about those things.
Meanwhile, his father is going to be doing a live Spaces on X on Monday night with Elon Musk. Go figure. Now, I think it's towards the end here when she asks Stuart Alderati about whether Ripple will appeal. Let's watch a little from the beginning.
I saw your post on X yesterday reacting to a judge fining Ripple $125 million after ruling that institutional sales of XRP violated federal securities laws. Now, you called the SEC's request for $2 billion in fines and penalties an absurd demand and wrote that you actually respect that $125 million fine that the court has imposed. How are you feeling about this final outcome to a long and protracted legal battle with the SEC?
We're feeling really good about it. Ripple, when it was first sued by the SEC almost 4 years ago, said that we were going to defend this case not only on our own behalf, but on behalf of the entire crypto industry. This administration, with this SEC under this chair, has clearly taken an anti-crypto stance and has engaged in a war on crypto that's playing out in the courts. I think they lost on everything that was important to them. Trying to establish that a token itself, in this case XRP, can be considered a security was soundly rejected by the court. And what the court said is a token is never a security in and of itself, just like a bar of gold is never a security. You can certainly package commodities or virtual currencies up and sell them as securities, but they're not securities in and of themselves. And that's the core clarity that we sought in this case. And the establishing that XRP is not in and of itself a security is the law of the land. What the judge did find is that certain historical sales, beginning around 2015, the way that those sales were packaged with sophisticated third parties, they should have been registered under the securities laws. And that's the piece of the decision that we respect. The judge rejected a $2 billion ask from the SEC because she found that Ripple didn't act recklessly. We didn't act with any intention to defraud anybody. And in fact, there were no victims. The counterparties to those transactions suffered no financial loss at all. But staying true to the law, since there was a technical violation of the failure to register those historical sales, she did impose a fine of $125 million. That's something that we will pay with cash off of our balance sheet, and we look forward to moving forward. And hopefully this turns a page not only for Ripple, but also hopefully finally this administration will turn the page on their war on crypto and hit the reset button.
Don't think that's happening. But he said Ripple's going to pay $125 million cash. So from Ripple's side, this is over. And they've got to pay that in the next 20 days, I believe. 30 days. No. Yeah, 30 days. And then within 60 days, Gary, who is a complete a-hole, he'll probably wait till the 59th day, even if he's not going to appeal. That is when the real fireworks go off. If the SEC announces that they're not going to appeal, this thing is over. Then it's really over. Now, in DAIXRP.com, here's what I'm going to show you. We got new video now. And there's one of the police officers. He says something that's really wild. This one's good. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family that away we go.